Good morning. We're going to start our service singing Where Did We Come From, number 1003, and it's in 4 parts, so feel free to follow along with anyone who's singing a part that appeals to you.
Good morning. Whether by habit or out of need, whether in body or through cyberspace, you entered this sanctuary today. Light, shining sky inside, open space for hearts and minds. There is no separation here. Of the sacred from the profane, no setting apart from the natural world, for nothing can be more precious than the ordinary beauty of the world around us or the stirrings of the human spirit. Let us bring then our holy hearts and our sacred bits of soil into this place of ritual and song. Let us once more commingle the elements of heaven and earth in this shrine of interconnection. Come, let us worship together. As we begin our service, let us take a moment, as we always do, to acknowledge that we are gathered on the traditional lands of the Duwamish people, stewards of this land in the past and present and future. With humility and gratitude, we honor this land and the Duwamish tribe and commit to our role in the story of repair of our relationship with this land and its people. Whoever you are, wherever you have come from, whatever the color of your skin, whoever and however you love, however your body moves and your brain works, however you identify, you are welcome in this faith community. Our Unitarian Universalist tradition has no creed, no test of faith, or oath to swear. We have instead the promises that we make to one another, to healing a hurting world within and beyond these walls. Welcome, everyone.
And now, let us take a moment to light our chalice. Our chalice lighter today is David Bullington. This chalice is the symbol of our Unitarian Universalist heritage. May its heat energize us for the work that is ours to do. May its light make our vision clear and bright. May its warmth comfort us. This morning, as we light this flame, we mark this time as sacred time. We mark this space as sacred space. Let us share in all of this together. Now, as David lights our chalice, please join me in speaking the words of our congregation's affirmation. Love is the doctrine of our congregation. The quest for truth is our sacrament, and service is our prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humanity in fellowship. Thus do we covenant with one another. Welcome to the Westside Unitarian Universalist Congregation. I am Jill Fleming, a member of the worship team, and it is a great joy to be with you on this almost sunny morning. Alongside Reverend Carter, today on the theme of tending the hearth, looking inward to hearth and home and turning to that which grounds and sustains us as we prepare for the unfolding of the days to come. If you are with us for the first time or the first time in a while, welcome. We are glad that you are here, both in the sanctuary and joining online, to make some space in your life to attend to your heart and your spirit, to come together in community. Please visit our website, which you can do by scanning the QR code on the card in the pews, where you can fill out a welcome form that lets us get to know you a bit better, and send you our weekly electronic newsletter, The West Side Week, every Friday. As always, it is good to see familiar and new faces today. Let's take a moment to greet our neighbors around us. Well, it's always risky to get you all started. But we hope you continue those conversations downstairs after our service at the coffee hour. And a little hint, there's pie downstairs, so you should be down there. Okay. Each week, congregants who agree to light our chalice are given a chance to respond to a question, and this year actually to share a poem with us. This is a chance for us to get to know them better and to invite more voices into our chancel. David Bullington has been asked to offer a piece of poetry that is meaningful to him. So come on up.
Hello, hello. So, you guys are in for a doozy on this one. It's going to be a real piece of myself here. About 5 years ago, all of our lives were upended by COVID. And about 2 weeks into lockdown, my grandmother went into hospice. And my mom and I drove from Illinois to Maine. There was nothing open. We slept in the car, stopped as little as possible, and the roads were never emptier. I was more afraid of wildlife than other cars. And when we got to Maine, their policy on lockdown was, if you are coming in, you have to spend 2 weeks in isolation before you can do anything. And so Grandma was in the house, in the living room, in a hospital bed, and I could not escape the fact that she was dying right there. Death was always something that was difficult for me. I never knew what to say. I hadn't really dealt with it too much up until that point, and especially not so intimately. And in that week, I saw a beautiful transformation unfolding in front of me. And there was her last lucid moments. We had an ice cream party. She loved ice cream. And we got out the ice cream, and I was spoon feeding her little bits of it, and she had moments where she would just say some things and you didn't know where it came from, but one of them was, "Where's the Queen?" And my mom in the other room hearing this came in and twirled and curtsied, and we all applauded, and it was a wonderful moment. And then a day or two later, I was taking the night shift because I was working nights at the time, so I was used to being up until 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. And I was giving her morphine every 2 hours or so just to keep her pain away. And I wrote this poem while I was constantly holding one hand with my right hand and using my non-dominant hand to write this. So I'd like to share this with you. This is called Coronation of the Queen. Amid the chaos consuming the country, a call is made to quiet the chronic pain. Like a river carving through the canyons, we all succumb to erosion in closing. The river carries her sediment from this life to the next, cleansing her karma, preparing to create anew from crystallized crustaceans. Quite curious how the clock ticks so quickly. In the course of this contemplative caring, comments cut clearly through the clouds. Where is the Queen? Our Queen careens in, curtsies, and we coronate our new Queen. As the clouds condense, the river climbs. The current carries her quietly, carefree. She'll go on, create conifers and carnations, kilometers and continents away. So thank you. I have some other comments here. I really enjoy writing poetry as a way to work through something that I'm feeling at the time. I really write infrequently. It's just when I feel called to do so. And this was the first thing that I had written in probably about 7 or 8 years. It really helped alchemize my feelings of loss that I didn't even fully understand that I was feeling at the time, because feelings are a brand new thing to me now. But it helped me alchemize those into a piece of art that could help me process it. And that is what poetry means to me. It's wonderful. It helped me understand death. It helped me see it as a transformation, something that was just so beautiful to behold. And it helped me be present for others in the future whenever there was death around, whenever someone had something that they were going through. And at the time, I knew that there's a conservation of energy. And I understood it from the physics sense, and now I understand it from a spiritual sense. And I know that I can call her spirit to me whenever I so choose. And I'm happy to share this with you today I had thought about this poem quite a bit during our Samhain service, and I like to think that sharing it today on Imbolc, or a week after, will help bookend that, and we can see the transformation of the death of winter into the life of spring. So, with that, I hope that next time you have to deal with any death around you, you can see it as a transformation and for the beauty that it is. Thank you.
David. I invite you to rise in body or spirit to sing hymn 1071, On the Dusty Earth Drum. We're going to sing it all the way through twice.
And if you want to join, if you want to join Chris, we're kind of doing it in a little bit of a round, but you can stay with me and Liz, or you can join Chris when Chris breaks into a different part. Here we go. On the dusty earth drum beats the falling rain. Now a whispered murmur, now a louder strain. Slender silvery drumsticks on an ancient drum beat the mellow music, bidding life to come. Chords of life awakened, notes of greeting spring. Rise and fall triumphant over everything. Slender silvery drumsticks beat the long tattoo. God the great musician, calling life anew. On the dusty earth beats the falling rain. Now a whispered murmur, now a louder strain. Slender silvery drumsticks on an ancient drum beat the mellow music, bidding life to come. Chords of life awakened, notes of greeting spring. Rise and fall triumphant over everything. Slender silvery drumsticks beat the long tattoo. God the great musician, calling life anew.
Thank you, Rainier Reunion, for leading us in that song. It is now our time for all ages, and this is a little different this morning. Rainier Reunion is going to be leading us in a special song, the 12 Days of Lunar New Year, which Leilani Davenberry will introduce for us. But today we'll all stay in the pews for singing. And children and youth, after we sing, are invited to the social hall for our time for all, after our time for all ages. They will continue their exploration of love with another Lego building challenge and mindful makers activities.
Good morning, all. If you have any trouble hearing me this morning or would like to read what I'm about to share with you, just send me an email or catch me after service downstairs and you can read my words. In a couple minutes, the Rainier Reunion is going to lead us through the 12 days of Lunar New Year song from the book by Janice Lettuce, illustrated by Colleen Madding. The Lunar New Year is also known as the Spring Festival and is celebrated by millions around the world, marking the beginning of a new year of the traditional Lunar New Year calendar, the lunar calendar. The first day of this festival begins on the first new moon of the lunar calendar, which varies from year to year, depending on the cycles of the moon. Each year, the lunar calendar is represented by one of the 12 zodiacs, which are the rat, the ox, the tiger, the rabbit, the dragon, the snake, the horse, the sheep, the monkey, the rooster, the dog, and the pig. Seattle's Lunar New Year celebration will be in the International District on February 22nd, featuring the traditional dragon and lion dances, martial arts demonstrations, and other cultural performances, and a variety of family-friendly activities, arts and crafts, vendors, and cultural exhibits, and a food walk. Before West Side honors Lunar New Year today with this song, let me offer you all a Lunar New Year blessing as we begin the year of the wood snake, a time of introspection and transformation as the snake is forever renewing and shifting. We are constantly becoming, sloughing, and leaving behind that which no longer serves us. We molt and move on. As we celebrate this new moon and new year, let us honor transformation in our lives and of others. Let us move in our creativity, wisdom, and intuition. Now, will you please join Rainier Reunion in singing the 12 days of Lunar New Year?
On the first day of New Year, my parents gave to me one dancing dragon for luck. On the second day of New Year, my parents gave to me 2 sweet rice cakes and one dancing dragon for luck. On the third day of New Year, my parents gave to me 3 brave lions, 2 sweet rice cakes, and one dancing dragon for luck. On the fourth day of New Year, my parents gave to me 4 envelopes, 3 brave lions, 2 sweet rice cakes, and one dancing dragon for luck. On the fifth day of New Year, my parents gave to me 5 tangerines, 4 red envelopes, 3 brave lions, 2 sweet rice cakes, and one dancing dragon for luck. On the sixth day of New Year, my parents gave to me 6 brooms for sweeping, 5 tangerines, 4 red envelopes, 3 brave lions, 2 sweet rice cakes, and one dancing dragon for luck. On the seventh day of New Year, my parents gave to me 7 friends to shop with, 6 brooms for sweeping, 5 tangerines, 4 red envelopes, 3 brave lions, 2 sweet rice cakes, and one dancing dragon for luck. On the 8th day of New Year, my parents gave to me
right, thank you, Leilani and Rainier Reunion. As we sing our children out to their classes, well, let's join us in As You Go.
We hold you in our love as you go. May your heart be at peace as you go. To nurture the spark of your precious life. We hold you in our love as you go.
Collective act of generosity known as our offering, when we take time to actively support Westside UU congregation and its many ministries with our gifts by text, check, or cash. Each month, we choose a community organization to share 1/3 of our undesignated offering gifts. That is, those donations not designated as your pledge contributions. For the month of February, our community giving recipient is the White Center Food Bank, where our congregation has provided a volunteer presence for a number of years as food packers, grocery store helpers, and even home delivery people on occasion. The mission of the White Center Food Bank is to minimize hunger while nourishing community, nurturing self-reliance, and embracing our rich cultural heritage and diversity. You can give by text by sending a message with the $ and the amount you want to give to the number on the screen. For folks here in the sanctuary who prefer to share your gifts by cash or check, the greeters will move among us shortly. If you'd like your gift to be recorded as coming from you, please use one of the envelopes in the pews. And now, please enjoy this gift of music, Dancing at the Festival, composed and performed by Chris McEwen on fiddle.
Thank you all for your gifts, which go to support our ministries and that of our partners. And thank you, Chris and Lisa. It's a treat every time y'all play. During each of our services, we like to take a moment to make collective space for holding the joys and sorrows of this community. As a reminder, if you would like for a joy or sorrow to be shared here or in our newsletter, there is a link to submit that at our newsletter. And we also have baskets at the back of the sanctuary. I have one that I remember. We have a mixed joy from Amy Youngblood. She says that this week marks the end of my jobs as activity director, 5 years of building community for seniors, time to build new communities in new places. So we wish you well, Amy, in this time of transition. And we have a concern from Marion Key, who is in Indiana visiting with their father-in-law, who has been dealing with heart failure symptoms and is now in the hospital from complications from a valve replacement surgery. He received a permanent pacemaker Monday morning and seems to be improving and on his way to rehab. Marion appreciates well wishes and healing thoughts being sent to their whole family in Indiana. And a joy from Sue Holly. She says, I finally got home on January 28th after 3 weeks in the hospital. I am grateful for the people who have reached out and helped with things in my recovery. I will be off for a few weeks to focus on getting stronger and back to baseline, and it is good to be home. So if you're watching, we are thinking of you. This is the first Sunday we have gathered this month, and it is the tradition of our congregation to honor our joys and sorrows with an embodied ritual. During this time, you are invited to approach our altar table using the side aisles, to place a stone into one of our water bowls and return to your seat from the center aisle. As you hold your stones, take a moment to fill them with any prayerful intention you'd like to bring. As you place the stone in the bowl, feel all that you hold in your heart mingling with the joys and sorrows of this whole community. For those of you joining remotely, you are invited to hold a stone or other sacred object to you and do the same. If you have an altar or a place on your table, you may want to use care and intention to place this down and join us in this ritual. Now let us begin. let us hold a little more a moment of silence to hold in our hearts all the joys and sorrows, both known and unknown, in our community. Let us lift each other up in love as well as our neighbors in the wider human community. Now let us continue our meditation in song, singing "There Is a Love."
I was reflecting on the poem I'm about to read and my own ancestors' journey to America. I know very little about that. I do know that all four of my maternal great-grandparents came by ship from Denmark as children or teenagers in the late 19th century. The youngest of them was not even 2 when she arrived here. Her mother, my great-great-grandmother, was widowed 1 month before her birth when her husband drowned in the North Sea. What prompted her to take her 4 young children to America not even 2 years later? One died on board ship. How did she manage? What did she carry? What did she leave behind? Our reading this morning is the poem "Things We Carry on the Sea" by Wang Ping. We carry tears in our eyes. Goodbye, Father. Goodbye, Mother. We carry soil in small bags. May home never fade in our hearts. We carry names, stories, memories of our villages, fields, boats. We carry scars from proxy wars of greed. We carry carnage of mining, droughts, floods, genocides. We carry dust of our families and neighbors incinerated in mushroom clouds. We carry our islands sinking under the sea. We carry our hands, feet, bones, hearts, and best minds for a new life. We carry diplomas, medicine, engineer, nurse, education, math, poetry, even if they mean nothing to the other shore. We carry railroads, plantations, laundromats, bodegas, taco trucks, farms, factories, nursing homes, hospitals, schools, temples, built on our ancestors' backs. We carry old homes along the spine, new dreams in our chests. We carry yesterday, today, and tomorrow. We're orphans of the wars forced upon us. We're refugees of the sea rising from industrial wastes. And we carry our mother tongues, Hajj, Hub, Lib, Amor, love. Pingan, Salam, Shalom, pause, peace. Hihuang, Amel, Hoffnung, Esperanza, hope, 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 as we drift in our rubber boats from shore to shore to shore.
Bright morning stars are rising. Bright morning stars are rising. Bright morning stars are rising. Days are breaking in my soul. Oh, where are our dear loved ones? Oh, where are our dear loved ones? Some are down in the valley praying. Days are breaking in my soul. Oh, where are our dear loved ones? Oh, where are our dear loved ones? Some are gone to heaven shouting. Days are breaking in my soul. Bright morning stars are rising. Bright morning stars are rising. Bright morning stars are rising. Days are breaking in my soul.
This is the time of year when it feels like we are being teased by the impending close of winter. The days are getting longer, day is breaking sooner. We can't deny this, even though we have many more days of long gray ahead of us, maybe a bit more snow. We see crocus shoots coming up and must trust that their flowers will come. The holiday season, Christmas, Hanukkah, solstice, Kwanzaa, these festivals of light are long behind us, and this is the time when we just wait. This year in particular, the winter feels interminable. As one of my friends said last week, this January, time somehow warped to make it the longest month in human history. If we are going to be living in a time of political and social chaos, can we at least have a few more hours of light in our day? And then the immortal groundhog, Punxsutawney Phil, foretold of 6 more weeks of winter. So we get to settle in a little bit more for this ride. This is where our topic for today comes in. My favorite niche holiday, Imbolc. It is one of the 8 pagan sabbats, marking the midpoint between the winter solstice and the spring equinox. It happened last week, but we can celebrate it this week. In folk tradition, Imbolc is thought of as the start to the end of winter, or the beginning of spring. We have to find something to celebrate, right? This morning, I want to share more with you about this holiday that centers on the hearth and home, and to invite you to consider what the spirit of a season of hearth and home might call you to do. Whether it is harnessing the power of the sacred sanctuary of your own home, or working to honor the rights of all people to home and sanctuary. So, in Irish tradition, Imbolc marks the start of lambing season, so we have new life and new milk coming in. And it is the feast day of St. Bridget in Catholic Irish tradition. Bridget is Ireland's patron saint, and it is modeled after a much older goddess, Bridget, of hearth and home. Throughout these traditions, Bridget is associated with wisdom, fire, blacksmithing, livestock, dairy production, healing, protection, and poetry. She is the spark in the coals in your hearth that keep your house warm and cook your food. She is the mother goddess who watches over the healing waters of holy wells, and whose symbol, the Bridget's cross of woven grass, is hung over the doorway for protection of the home. There are communities, particularly in Ireland and the UK, who have communal festivals for Bridget's Day Imbolc, but I think it is also something that we can take as a quiet day that we honor in our homes. We can use it for spring cleaning, for literally and metaphorically shaking out the dust of winter and its stagnant energy. Since I first learned of this holiday a few years ago, there have been a few ways I've taken to celebrating it. In 2021, in lockdown, many months into lockdown, I deeply craved some refreshment of my home space and a reminder that that winter in particular would end. On my morning walks that early February in the woods in central North Carolina, I made a point to move slowly so that I could notice the smallest signs of spring. Daffodil stems popping through the frosty brown leaves on the ground, deepening green in the magnolia trees, hinting at buds to come. Then, on a day off from work, my partner and I deep cleaned the whole apartment and opened all the windows and doors and let the fresh air come in and fill up that space and clear out the energy. We then took a small bit of incense methodically around each room, going to the corners, up by the ceiling and down by the floor, to the door frames and the windows. And at each place, we offered words of blessing to the home, hoping we could force this place to offer us protection and warmth for the spring to come. It did in many ways. We didn't have a garden then, but for some practitioners of Wiccanism, Imbolc is a time to plant the first seed starts of the year. I have seen a recommendation that you can make a ritual of this. You can plant small biodegradable slips of paper with notes of what you wish to nourish in your life in the upcoming growing season with the seeds. I think that there is something in the human soul that feels the shifting energy in this time of year. As I've learned more about Lunar New Year since moving to the Pacific Northwest, I have realized that there are many overlapping themes. Just as with Imbolc, cleaning is an important tradition in many Lunar New Year celebrations. There are guides online to understand the best way to clean in order to invite good fortune and prosperity into the home, and there are certain days that are more astrologically suited for this type of cleaning. I love that so many disparate cultures have figured out that this is a time when we need fresh energy in our lives, and we can do some things to hopefully bring that about as we take time to ready ourselves and our families for the year to come. This universal impulse to prepare our homes and spirits for the year ahead resonates deeply with my own understanding of the home as a sacred space. It is the place we go at the end of the day, and if we fill it with love and intention, it can be a sanctuary, a place where we go to be most fully and most comfortably ourselves. We get to fill it with the things we love most and cultivate a space that is right for our daily living. It is a place to recharge from the stresses of the world, and isn't that a gift? I have been hearing a lot in recent weeks about the importance of also tending to the small details of our lives, as so much of the world as we know it is in upheaval. In addition to contributing to local causes within our reach, we are also understanding the critical importance of savoring rest and joy when we can. It is undeniable that when we have places to retreat to that help us feel whole and secure, we are a lot stronger when we take on challenges when we get to our work. Whether it is your literal home or some other place, I invite you to spend time this season appreciating the strength that these moments of refuge can bring you. Perhaps if we more viscerally notice that feeling, we will be better at acting from it. We will feel stronger. I apologize, it's winter. One more thing. This year, as I reflect on the resonances of this season, there is one thing that becomes glaringly obvious. To have a stable housing where one feels safe and like they have the space to fully relax and be themselves is increasingly a privileged thing. Forces such as economic inequality and domestic violence can make home quite tenuous. Our world right now is full of people who have a shifting and fragile sense of home. We think of those who are unhoused or insecurely housed in our own community. I know that probably in this room there are people falling all along that continuum. This is a struggle that is so alive in our world right now. We think of people, perhaps family and friends, who have lost their homes in recent months to unimaginable fires and floods. And we think of people whose homes have been destroyed by war and genocide. Asylum seekers and refugees who must grieve their homelands while trying to form for themselves a new home in a new place. If home is sacred, I believe home is sacred. That makes these inequities all the more painful. We understand on a spiritual level the intrinsic right of humans to have a safe place to rest their head at the end of the day. Earlier in our service, Jill shared the poem from Wang Ping. She is a Chinese-American poet, professor, multimedia artist. This poem speaks viscerally to the experience of immigration and all that immigrants must carry with them in their journeys. Yes, they are often forced to carry the weight of goodbyes, the weight of the forces that caused them to leave in the first place. But also they carry with them bits of their home and their ancestors, their mother tongues, small bags of soil, old homes along the spine, new dreams in the chest. New demographic research shows that globally we are living through a time of peak migration in human history. According to a recent UN report on migration, there are 281 million people now living outside of the country that they were born in. This is 3.6% of the world's population. It's never happened before. Within this, there is also the record high of 50 million people who have been forced to leave their homes due to conflict and disaster. Journalist Lydia Polgreen describes it as an extraordinary tide of human movement. Yet, despite the incredible need and the gifts that immigrants come with, our nation's response has been one of increasing hostility. This February, as Imbolc teaches us to honor the sacred act of creating warmth and sanctuary, I think we should let it also call us to recognize that we need to do this for others. The right to home and safety is a universal one that should be enjoyed by all. Research generally shows that waves of immigration are followed by waves of social growth and economic prosperity. Even though this is true, this current tide of human movement is subject to the same vitriolic backlash we have seen in anti-immigrant campaigns throughout the nation's history. Rather than acknowledging the enormous sacrifices and challenges that people have undertaken to travel to a new country and build a life there, the United States government and other governments are undertaking a massive and particularly visible campaign to criminalize immigration and brutally punish as many immigrants as they can. For those of us who are immigrants, who know and love people who weren't born here, it is terrifying. I think so many of us have personal connections to this problem. There are practical things we can do, especially those of us who are citizens and green card holders, that we can be in community and solidarity with our neighbors who are not. Our community, thankfully, we've got some people working on this. We are working with the West Side Interfaith Network and other community partners who serve immigrants to learn more about how bystanders can intervene in the face of ICE interference. Members of our racial justice change team are doing this training along with accompaniment training and trying to bring some of that into our facilities here. I hope you'll say yes as you're able when the invitation comes. And you can count any action of cultivating sanctuary as your honoring of Imbolc. We can use this time to light candles, sweep our hearths, plant our first seeds, but perhaps the deepest way to honor this season spiritually is to recognize the holiness of tending warmth and safety, not just for ourselves, but for all who seek shelter and renewal. The struggle for home, for safety, for belonging is political, yes, but it is also spiritual. It is about the sacred right of every person to have a place where they can rest, where they can build a life, where they can be held in community. Work like immigration justice and housing justice is the work of tending the hearth of the larger human family. In this time of lengthening days, while we search for the earliest signs of new life and hope, may we feel empowered to create warmth and sanctuary for ourselves and for one another. May we pray that all people in all the world find the safety of a home that can give them real rest and renewal. May our faith remind us that new life can spring from frozen ground. Though it is not quite yet the time of cherry blossoms and confetti that they make on the sidewalks, I do want to close with this poem from Ada Limon. titled Instructions on Not Giving Up. She writes, "More than the fuchsia funnels breaking out of the crabapple tree, more than the neighbor's almost obscene display of cherry limbs, shoving their cotton candy-colored blossoms to the slate sky of spring rains. It is the greening of the trees that really gets to me. When all the shock of white and taffy, the world's baubles and trinkets leave the pavement strewn with the confetti of aftermath. The leaves come, patient, plodding, a green skin growing over whatever winter did to us. A return to the strange idea of continuous living, despite the mess of us, the hurt, the empty. Fine then, I'll take it, the tree seems to say. A new slick leaf unfurling like a fist to an open palm. I'll take it all. Thank you.
I invite you to rise in body or spirit as we sing our sending hymn number 1068, Rising Green.
I want to thank all of the people that make this service and this morning possible. First of all, Rainier Reunion, and especially Chris McEwen on fiddle, John Hanson on piano, of course, Reverend Carter Smith, Leilani Davenberry, David Bullington, Nate Mesnard, and Henry Sikora up in the booth, our ushers, our hospitality people, and our flower arranger this morning, Ginger Brewer. As always, it is a pleasure and blessing to do this sacred work together. Please do make sure to look at your West Side Week, which you will have received on Friday, for details about our many activities and gatherings. Remember, there's a pie sale downstairs right now, or about 5 minutes. In addition, please save the dates for our all-community West Side auction. The theme is We Are Family. It starts Sunday, April 27th, runs through Saturday, May 3rd. And if you're ready to talk about a donation, the auction team is ready for you. They'll be downstairs at a table waiting for you to donate. Our next Sunday service will be on February 23rd, Transcending Mystery and Wonder with Reverend Carter and Steve Burrows.
I invite you to rise one more time in body or spirit. These are our closing words from Deborah Weiner. O Spirit of life and love, we pause for a moment amidst days of snow and slush to reflect on the changes 1 week can make in our lives. We celebrate the feast of Imbolc, heralding the coming spring. Our hearts stir with the thought that lambs are being born, that the light is increasing, that the earth has begun to stir from its winter sleep. We bow to the forces of nature that have stirred again and reminded us, through storms and sudden changes in our weather, we are not in charge. That the earth is moved by jet streams, polar vortices, and Alberta clippers, and we find ourselves strong in our endurance. And through it all, we are also reminded again and again that we are not alone. May we continue to recognize that in this spiritual home we are held. In this house of memory and hope, we will be welcomed and supported. In this temple of celebration and contemplation, may we bring all of who we are to be both honored and affirmed. For all this and all that will come in the days ahead, we say amen and blessed be. And now I will invite David to release our flame. May you go into this week blessed and blessing the world. We hold you in our love as you go.
Join us in singing Go Well, My Friend.